I'm hearing that we've come to a point where we need a do-over. We need to start over. It's time to reboot your system. It's time to refresh, reset, start over. Like the energy that I'm getting, especially for today, is that it's time for you to reboot. Sensei Victoria Whitfield from strategicmeditation.com, where I help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders like you get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. I'm honored to get to be your journey partner in increasing your energy levels so that you can increase your income and impact. And with that, this is your business energy flow forecast. The point of these messages every week is to make sure that you have what to look out for, as if I'm your business energy weather lady. Helping you look out for the week ahead, right? The day ahead especially, so that you set your mind right, cast the set and frame of your mind set before you go into the day. That is your business energy flow forecast. And for today's message in particular, we're talking about resetting, right? Reprogramming, rebooting your system. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this video if you have not yet, right? If you're enjoying these series and blessing, comment below. If you're watching, comment reset so that I know that you're with me. So when I was journeying on the topic for today, my spirit guide showed me that they showed me the energy of kind of like a trash can that's just filling up to the brim. Have you ever had this in your house? Maybe you have a lot of company over, or you've just been really busy lately, but we've been using the trash can. It's getting fuller and fuller, and maybe it's been sitting there for a while, so it's starting to smell. What do we need to do? We need to take the trash out. That's what it means to hit the reset button, right, for ourselves. And we see this with our devices, right, our cell phones, our laptops, our tablets. When we keep using them without powering them down completely, instead of, you just put it on sleep, right, you cut the screen off, or you close the laptop, or you let the screen turn off as it's going into sleep mode, but it's not really reset. What happens is that in the background, just like with the trash can, more and more data, more and more of the cache keeps building up in the background. Even more updates that need to recalibrate themselves. All of this information starts building up in the background, where the machine, the device, starts running at suboptimal performance levels. And if you've ever also had a system crash, what's the first thing that tech support tells you to do when you call them on the phone, no matter what? Have you rebooted your system? No? I'll wait. And when you do it, make sure you unplug it, power it down completely and unplug it, and wait for 20 seconds count, right? And they sit on the phone with you. And then suddenly, 9 times out of 10, that was all it needed, right? So, by the way, shout out to me for fixing your electronic problems. Maybe you need to reboot your TV. Your smart TV is not working. Maybe you need to reboot your desktop. Your desktop isn't working. Maybe your laptop's been running a little weirdly slow. It's like, have you really turned it off and waited and then turned it back on? Right? And so how interesting that we go out of our way to be aware of what our devices need in order for them to perform at their best. But when it comes to our own bodies, our own minds, we don't know half as much as how to care for ourselves as we do our devices. It's a shame. And this week in particular, this day, or as we say in Reiki, just for today, the message that I'm getting to give you is that you need to reboot your system. It's time for a hard reset. A hard reset is powering all the way down, letting all the way go, so that you can be fully refreshed and reset, and then come back to the work, whatever it is. I will. My spirit guides are telling me to say that some signs that you need a reset is that you've been coming upon creative blocks, sales stagnation. You also may be coming upon plateaus, right? Perhaps in your weight loss or weight training journey. You may be coming upon just a sneaking frustration feeling or ambient stress that you kind of can't put down. If you've also been having issues with sleep lately, it's time for you to reboot your system at a deeper level, right? And I'm not talking take a nap, right? For those of you who can't sleep, what level of reboot are you calling in that can reset your system so that you're able to finally drop down into sleep? We're bringing this concept in because our greater conversation in this series is about you staying on track and being vigilant, right? Keeping an eye out about the things that knock you off of your track. The track that you're on to achieve your goals, the track that you are on to live your mission and purpose, the track that is going to bring you to your vision manifested. What's knocking you off track is the fact that you're not taking care to, apparently as of today, reboot your system. Standard system maintenance. What system? This. So your body, your physical body, and your mind. And this is a wonderful topic because the way to get to both for a very deep reset is through the spirit. We're going to turn to history, science, and the spirit guides for advice and insight on exactly how to approach rebooting our system. With that, let's get to it. Think and Grow Rich is how we get our history for the week. And let's see here. I'm going to page 117 in my copy. The chapter on specialized knowledge for those of you who are reading along. By the way, if you're paying attention, type specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge. Let's go. It pays to know how to purchase knowledge. Yeah. It pays to know how to purchase knowledge. First of all, decide the sort of specialized knowledge you require and the purpose for which it is needed. To a large extent, your major purpose in life, the goal toward which you are working, will help determine what knowledge you need. With this question settled, your next move requires that you have accurate information concerning dependable sources of knowledge. The more important of these are 1, one's own experience and education. 2, experience and education available through cooperation of others, the Mastermind Alliance. 3, colleges and university. 4, public libraries. And 5, special training courses through night schools and home study schools in particular. As knowledge is acquired, it must be organized and put into use for a definite purpose through practical plans. Knowledge has no value except that which can be gained from its application towards some worthy end. If you contemplate taking additional schooling, first determine the purpose for which you want the knowledge you are seeking. Then learn where this particular sort of knowledge can be obtained from some reliable sources. Successful men in all callings never stop acquiring specialized knowledge related to their major purpose, business, or profession. Those who are not successful usually make the mistake of believing that the knowledge acquiring period ends when one finishes school. The truth is that schooling does but little more than to put one in the way of learning how to acquire practical knowledge. The order of the day is specialization. So here's the thing. Relating this back to rebooting your system. Are you just acquiring knowledge of how to care for yourself recreationally? Or are you applying the knowledge, the techniques, the exercises, the disciplines, the behaviors, the actions? Are you just acquiring or are you applying? Are you acquiring or are you applying? Because here's the thing. My spirit guides are telling me not to tell you how to reboot your system because you already know. That's what they're telling me. You know better than anyone else. In fact, you have books all over your bookcases on how to reboot your system. You have a hard drive full of courses, programs, videos, audios. You have a cloud drive full of all of the same courses, videos, programs, products, and checklists and step by step. You have your email inbox full. You have your social media full. You have so much knowledge. Not only that, looking back over your shoulder temporally, you have so many previous experiences, so much training, so many mentors, so many certifications, certificates, right? So much learning under your belt for how to take good care of you and reboot in the way, reset in the way that really, really gets down on the inside, uniquely for your system. But the awakening here is applying the knowledge as opposed to acquiring. Notice how Napoleon Hill in that quote specifically said, knowledge that is not applied is useless, right? It is useless without being applied exactly where it's needed. This is your reminder. Do what you know works for you. If you know you shouldn't be drinking that, stop it. If you know that you should be eating that and not this, do that. If you know that when you do this thing, you get clients, do that. Stop being distracted. Stay on track. But in order for you to get to the, oh, do that or don't do that, or being decisive, right, and taking action, my spirit guides are saying you must reboot your system. Reset. Let's go. Let's reset. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's go to science. Can we reset our system? Can we reprogram ourselves? Is it possible? Are we just set in our ways? What do people turn to in order to do that? Let's go. This is an article from the BBC. How I Rewired My Brain in 6 Weeks by Melissa Hagenboom. This is from 2023. One of the examples is mindfulness and joining a program. Hagenboom's going to explain her experience. Our brain has an incredible ability to adapt, learn, and grow because by its nature, it is plastic. That is, it changes. This is called neuroplasticity, which simply means the brain's ability to adapt and evolve over time in structure and function. It was once thought to be limited to youth, but we now know it's a constant force in shaping who we are. Every time we learn a new skill, our brain adapts. Neuroscientists and psychologists are now finding that we have the power to control that to some extent. And there's good reason to want to boost our brain. An increasing number of studies suggest it can play a role in delaying or preventing degenerative brain diseases. So with the help of Thorsten Barnhofer, a professor of clinical psychology at the University of Surrey in the UK, that's what I, Hagenboom speaking, set out to do. Pause. She's not just talking about it. She's not just writing an article about, rewiring the brain is important. Neuroplasticity is a thing. We can do this. Studies show it's possible. No, she said, that's what I set out to do. Type that in the comments below. That's what I set out to do. I set out to do it. Unpause. He's currently running a study on the effects of mindfulness in managing stress and difficult emotions, with a special focus on individuals with severe depression. I was surprised that something as simple as mindfulness could play such a crucial role in keeping our minds healthy. Imagine that. Research has shown that mindfulness is a simple but powerful way to enhance several cognitive functions. It can improve attention, relieve pain, and reduce stress. Research has found that after only a few months of mindfulness training, certain depression and anxiety symptoms can ease. Though as with any complex mental health problem, this may of course be varying depending on individual circumstances. There's more. Mindfulness can change the brain. That's because when the stress hormone cortisol increases and remains high, it can become toxic for your brain, quote, end quote, says Barnhofer. Stress can also directly inhibit neuroplasticity, so managing it allows the brain to remain more plastic. The question is, would this work on my brain? Over 6 weeks, not a day. 6 weeks. Barnhofer modified a mindfulness research course for me to try out for 30 minutes a day, either as one single session or two 15-minute sessions. I practiced a guided mindfulness meditation by listening to a recording. In addition, I had one weekly meditation session with Barnhofer himself, who guided me over Zoom. The full mindfulness course can be accessed online for me. At the end of the 6 weeks, I was extremely curious to see if all this work had any effect on my brain. After another brain scan and some trepidation about what might have happened inside my head in the intervening weeks, I visited Barnhofer at the University of Surrey to find out. He had been analyzing and comparing my two brain scans long into the night. There was a result. The structure of my brain had in fact changed, and there were a few measurable changes to be seen. One, half of my amygdala, an almond-shaped structure important for emotional processing, had reduced in volume on the right side. The change was minute but measurable. However, that's exciting. What's exciting is that this aligns with the scientific literature that shows mindfulness can reduce its size because it buffers stress seen in the amygdala. When we experience increased stress, the amygdala grows. I didn't feel particularly stressed to begin with, but even so, it was exciting to see a change. The other change was to my cingulate cortex, part of the limbic system that is involved in our behavioral and emotional responses. It is also important for the default mode network, a region that becomes active when the mind wanders and ruminates. In my brain, it had slightly increased in size over the 6 weeks, indicating increased control in that area. Again, this chimes with published studies in the scientific literature. It also resonates with what I noticed during my sessions. Over time, I found I was able to keep my mind more restful. I was able to zone out busy thoughts. It was quite, if you will excuse the pun, mind-bending to see these results to my brain on a big screen in front of me. Just by being mindful, I had managed to increase a part of my brain that prevents my mind from wandering too much. Relating this back to rebooting your system. So what's awesome about this article is that not only did she talk about mindfulness, but she practiced it. And she gave the schedule once a day, 30 minutes a day for 6 weeks. And it's 30 minutes total. So you could do 15 and 15 or 30 minutes. And that's how she rebooted her system. It doesn't have to be one dramatic experience. It could be deep inner work that is rewiring how you work. How are you going to set up a program for resetting yourself, right? If you've been feeling overwhelmed, maybe it's time that we set a structure for that. I digress. Bringing in the tarot card of the day is the 5 of air. Can we see that? 5 of air. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. And this is right side up. So this means you already know. 5 of air is coming forward to highlight that there is something that is harming you that you are choosing to do on a regular basis. And it's time for you to reevaluate your commitment to doing the thing that harms you, right? So for example, I was for some time eating red meat or beef jerky in some part of my day every day, as well as red meat, beef jerky, or deli meat, because I'm trying to get my protein in. But I was eating one of those 3 in some way, shape, and form every single day. My blood work came back that, oh, you have high cholesterol. Oh, time for me to reset my relationship with protein intake. How do I do that? All right, get curious about it. Integrate into my new meal plan lots more salmon and sardines and eggs and chicken, right? And my protein powder, instead of all the red and processed meats, right? And so that's how I reset my system. What are you doing unconsciously even, or semi-consciously, that you know is hurting you? It's time to reboot your relationship with that, whether you are going for, right, to if in your case, similar to mine, it's to go get your blood work to really find out. That's a heck of a reset and a reboot, having the data in front of you, like she was saying in the article, right? Or is it going for a cold plunge, or joining a yoga program or a meditation program that is structured to help you reset your relationship with your self-care? Because that is affecting your ability to perform and make progress on a sustainable basis. So with that, what's the action step of the day? As always, it's a strategic meditation. For those of you who have your school, go ahead and log in and type into the search bar, worry, body, release, grounding. Worry, body, release, grounding meditation. It's 14 minutes. So when you log into our school app, you're going to do that once a day. And if you're doing that as part of that regimen, similar to the lady from the BBC, right? That'll be 1/2 of your meditation prescription for the day. Or if you want to do it in the morning, in the evening, and boom, you're done. But what this one is going to do, worry, body, release, grounding, is going to help you release any worries and frustrations that are keeping you from performing at your highest levels. That's the meditation action step of the day now. You may be coming to the end of this video and say, Victoria, this is great. I'm not on school, but I have a ton of questions. I'm curious to know more. And I also want to learn about how I can reboot my system and set up a program for that. If so, make sure you click the link in the description. It's towards the top of the description of this video, right? Or if you're watching in the newsletter, there's a button on the screen. Go ahead and click the link to hop on my calendar. Let's talk, right? It's a complimentary strategy call. I would love to connect with you and see how I can help. I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. Sensei Victoria Whitfield from strategicmeditation.com. And remember, you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business.